Hi everyone, welcome to the new video. So today we'll discuss some interview mistakes that I have made during my DevOps interview round and which costed me so much. But from those mistakes I've learned a lot and I would like to share it with you so that if you are somewhere lacking, you can work on it. So first mistake that I have made is that my surface level troubleshooting answer. So whenever they used to ask me that suppose if your Jenkins build failed, so how will you troubleshoot it? So if my answer is I will go in the console output, I'll check the logs, and whatever is the logs like the errors, I will try to fix accordingly. But this is incomplete answer. If we have worked on Jenkins troubleshooting, we should have 5 6 scenarios in our mind. Like if I will check in console output at which stage it failed. If it failed in the build stage, if it failed in the git checkout stage, like if it is not able to pull the credentials, that I will see. If it fails in build due to not able to download certain package or version, or due to the incorrect commands, like for Java I'm using mvn and if some plugin is not working properly, or if for Python I'm using pip install and something failed over there, or for Node.js I'm using npm install and something failed over there. I will check with the team which is managing the package, or if I am managing the package, I will check in the repository for the particular plugin if it is not enabled or it has been disabled. If it failed in unit test, then what all uh, did it fail for certain test cases, or if it failed in the scans or in any deployment part or in any docker build stage. So 4 5 scenarios we should able to explain so that they know that you have actually worked on it. So this is just an example, but yes, surface level troubleshooting answers will lose you a job. Second thing that I found, that my weak Linux fundamentals. I knew the commands. I knew that for finding any particular word in a file, we use grep. But if I have to turn it into a script with use of proper loop, like if I have to find certain file, certain word in a multiple files in a directory or a folder, I have to use a loop, and I'm not able to write that. So that's where I found that I'm lacking practice. I think scripting needs practice and like your coding. So that just knowing the command is not enough. You should be able to turn it into script. Third thing was weak cloud fundamentals. Like if I know about VPC, I know about IAM, I know about subnet, but actually when the practical question comes, that if a developer has to be given access on particular resource of only create access, then what kind of policy or JSON file will it be, or what IAM role you'll create, how you'll attach a policy on it, how you'll make it that it has least privilege, and like this question like this, I felt like I lack depth in that because of lack of practice on cloud. So if I have to take, suppose if the subnet is already created, so can be recreated or can be edited. So a person who's actually worked on these things will have an answer to it. But if somebody asks these tricky questions, and if somebody has just mugged up the the definitions, they will definitely get caught in this trap. Fourth thing is, I was generally focusing on creating of pipelines in the Jenkins and GitHub Action. But when the question came that do you know how to manage Jenkins, I said yes with confidence. But when the questions they ask, I was not sure that okay, these questions can be asked. How to upgrade a Jenkins controller, or how will you manage the plugins in that, how, the old plugins, the new plugins, how are you going to upgrade it, and how are you going to take handle that process of upgrading the version, or are you going to upgrade it like this? What version you'll upgrade? And that's when I thought that just creating the pipelines and managing the Jenkins as an administrator, those are two different things. And if I'm saying that I have managed Jenkins, I should have proper knowledge about these things as well. So this was my fourth mistake that I did. I thought I will be able to answer, but I was not completely aware that these type of question can come. Fifth thing is monitoring. I used to ignore monitoring. I was like, it's fine. What is more like matrices, alerts, traces? That's it. But uh, no, how to configure matrices, what matrices to configure that will make our monitoring and help us to resolve any downtime or any issue quickly. I was not thinking like that. And that's when when the questions came, that how will you make a monitoring dashboard for your application, what all matrices you will add, so that any downtime, logs cannot go uncaptured. That's when I thought that we should start looking monitoring in this way. Sixth thing was that not knowing in depth how the prod deployment is happening. We think that if we are doing deployments on dev and qat, it's easily we can tell the process of prod also. But no, you should know about prod deployment, actually how it is happening. Try to take that experience if you are getting, how that pressure is handled, how rollbacks are handled if anything fails, how the approval process happening, how the scans are made sure that they are there in your pipeline. So prod deployment is, yes, a lot very different from dev and qat deployment. So we should not ignore that process, and we cannot compare it with dev and qat. That won't suffice. So these are the common mistakes that I found I was lacking, and I have worked on it, most of it. Somewhere if I'm lacking, I'm trying to cover it up. But yes, if you are trapped in the same situation, try to learn from my mistakes. Also, if you want to share something that I can learn from it, please comment down. So yeah, that's all. Bye.